Hi, I'm Micki Lavin-Pell, and I'm a marriage and family therapist and relationship coach. And I'm sitting here with my very good friend and co-host,
Molly Livingstone.
And we're going to talk to you about everything related to relationships.
In this show, what do you call it?
Real relationships.
Real relationships. And by the way, because you said you're like a family and relationship therapist and coach, and like you also help me. And who am I?
And
I'm the comedian sidekick. No, yes. I'm the one that like overanalyzes, has single friends, has married friends. I'm nosy. I'm a journalist. I'm questioning everything all the time. So Perfect. I'm like your audience who's doing the same thing right now.
Right.
Judging, questioning, commenting, and should have a conversation with us.
That's right. And so we want to invite all of you to listen into our show, listen into our conversation, basically, because that's what we're going to do. Molly and I just have conversations about relationships and stuff, because this is what we do when we get together.
It's true.
And we want to invite you to share all of your crazy relationship antics, stories, issues, foibles with us. And Molly and I are going to analyze it and pick it out to pieces.
And I think also you as a relationship coach, people are all the time saying, there's nothing wrong with me, or this guy on Tinder, or these guys on Tinder, or women, or whoever it is, they're having these issues.
Or Hinge.
Yeah. Oh my God, there's so many things. And I think that people should feel comfortable to email you and say, this is my problem, can you help me? And then you better help them.
I will do my very best. That's what I do.
And I'll be there on the sidelines being like the optimist, and then the pessimist, and then the optimist. Do you think people can find love nowadays?
I think if they try really, really hard,
yeah,
I do. I really do believe in everybody being able to find love, as long as they're willing to put some of their own stuff on the side and push through it. You know, put their egos on the side, put their pain on the side, put their vulnerability up front and center. And I think that they can. Absolutely.
And so what are we going to talk about on this show?
So we are going to talk about all the different landmines that get in people's way. We're going to talk about what it is that you need to do for yourself in order to find love, and understanding what it is that makes you tick and what makes you unique, and seeing that as the thing that will help you to find love and get out of your own way, basically, and allowing yourself to know how different things play roles in your life in terms of choosing the partners that you choose. And a lot of people come to me and they say, oh, I keep on going for the guy who treats me like garbage, or I keep on going for the girl who just wants to use me, and which is kind of the same, just different gender, right? Or I can't get a date, or I don't know how to get past the first date, or I'm just a one-hit wonder with the dating thing, or I could date endlessly, but I can't get into a relationship. So we're gonna navigate all those different types of relationship challenges that people have, and we definitely are going to have an eye towards moving from dating to relationship to something more serious like engagement or marriage.
And will you talk about marriage too? Because I think that
Absolutely.
there are people in marriages who are like, well, why? I want to date.
Right.
I want to have still a relationship with my husband or my wife. I want to still have sparks. I want to know how to make my relationship better. People in marriages can shut down, can have intimacy issues. And I think that more than anybody, they also are like, wait a second, don't just focus on singles. I have issues too, and I'm not admitting them necessarily. And there's even divorced people, right? These are people, imagine that. Can you believe in this day and age, we have divorced people more than ever, I think. And those are people that still have been in bad relationships, have definitely suffered, and still want to recommit themselves, whether it is just to themselves, right? They have their own journeys. And something I love about you, Micki, and you already touched upon it, is this idea of who is the one? We always think like, is there the one for me? Well, what about yourself as the one as well, as fixing yourself, dealing with who is the right person for me, and knowing that from yourself.
Right.
So.
Yeah, it's interesting because you're talking about how this show is really great for married people too. And something that I come across a lot with the married couples that I work with is I'll work with people who've married since, like, they married the first person that they met, basically. And very often those people have challenges, and that they've been together so darn long that they have to, and they've been through so much together. And even though they kind of started out not really knowing who they were, they've kind of built themselves through the relationship. And sometimes they go in different directions and they have to come back together again, or sometimes they go exactly the same way, and then there's this boredom that sets in, and there's all sorts of issues that come up with married people. But those make for really interesting relationship conversations that we could definitely talk about, and help people who are not yet in a relationship, who are freaked out by, oh, I don't want to get into a relationship and do the same thing, make the same mess that my parents made, my sisters made, they see their friends making.
Yeah, that was me.
That's all you.
Even in a relationship, I'm like, don't do it. Don't do what your parents did.
No. Yeah,
that's like a big watch out. And something that you're talking about, and I think being Jewish women and all, is we think about also relationships in terms of religion, culture, right? We're here in Israel, so if you're an Ashkenazi woman and you're with a Sephardi man, is that any different? How does that play out? If you're less religious but you're falling in love with a religious person, if you're both religious and you're not touching, because that's part of how you date. So how do you know if you have chemistry with people? I think you can touch on all of those things because you have all these clients all over the world.
Yes.
So what I'm here and analyzing and questioning, but you actually have the data and the research and the know-how and the skill set to say, okay, I hear your problems. Let me help you solve them.
I try.
Thanks
for your confidence, Molly.
I do have confidence in you. So if people want to write us with their queries, comments, suggestions, ideas for a topic, they want to be interviewed, they want to be helped, they want to have their profile analyzed by me. I'm really good with giving suggestions. How can they do that?
So you can contact us at realrelationships@jewishcoffeehouse.com, and we will do our very best to come up with lots of good responses for you and maybe even feature you on our show if you like. But of course, everything will be anonymous. We will never share your name. I will never share any names of my previous clients, and you will never know who we're talking about. That's definitely something a guarantee you can have.
That's
from
fair.
us.
I will never be anonymous because my voice is like everyone knows who I am and what I'm saying.
Right.
But that's okay because I speak for the people.
Right.
I am the people. I'm obsessed with relationships. I watch every relationship show ever.
I think you're better than I am at that.
I think you have answers. I have questions. That's why we're a team. I'm into like The Bachelor. I'm into Married at First Sight. I'm into blind dates. I'm into listening to my friends over Shabbat and going, what was that? What happened to you? They save stories for me. They save things. They save the weirdest ones, the best ones. It is. My singles get annoyed of me. I'm like, I'm living life through you. But in some ways, I do. And in some ways, I give them advice. And in some ways, I wonder, like, well, what would I do in these situations? And what have I learned from my mistakes, my challenges? What can I learn? I think it's always being open to those things. That's why I'm so happy to do this show with you and have relationship advice, dating advice, and advice about myself.
This is a freebie for you, basically, Molly.
Always. Everything is therapy for me. I feel bad for the guy that I order coffee from because I'm like, you didn't know this was going to happen when you asked if you could help me. You can.
Let's see. How many ways can you possibly help me in? Let's count them.
Yeah. So this is what the show is going to be like. And we're going to encourage people to have the conversation with us. I'm like waiting to see what people are going to say. And because I'm just so into this stuff, I want to hear what people have on their minds as well. And I think that everyone, since the beginning of time, humans want to find love. And we're still searching for it in every way possible. Married or not married.
The other thing I want to say before we wrap up here is we want to look at the Jewish angle on relationships because, after all, this is the Jewish Coffee House.
Jewish.
We're Jewish. We're two Jewish
Coffee
ladies.
talk.
That's right. So we're going to talk all about intimacy and touching and how long to date before you decide to seal the deal. Is there an absolute time that you should date for or not date for? We're going to look at dealing with the rest of the family, the mother-in-law. I'm sure Molly's going to come up with all of her juicy mother-in-law jokes.
My mother-in-law is going to be listening, so I want to say she's a wonderful person.
I'm sure she's perfect.
No, she is really a great person.
It's funny, I've never heard about your mother-in-law, Molly.
Oh my God, she's so
I've heard about every other member of your family, but your mother-in-law. That must be a good thing.
Yeah, exactly. I was just going to say that.
So we're going to talk about interreligious dating because that's a big thing that comes up where people think, oh, can I really date someone who's totally different from me? If I'm like Haredi and he's like Chiloni, how are we going to make this happen?
The ultra-religious and the ultra-secular.
Right.
That's a good show. I'd watch that.
That would be a really
That's
good
another
one.
dating show.
We're going to focus a lot on difference in so many different areas. And actually, we're doing the show, funny enough, right before the U.S. presidential election. And I think that will provide a lot of good stuff for us in a few weeks' time.
Are you saying that Trump and Clinton have been secretly dating and they'll come out after that?
No, but I mean, it's so interesting. I'm sure there's a lot of couples out there who are, one's for Clinton, one's for Trump, and they can't get it together. But I'm sure there's so many Democrat-Republican relationship stories out there. So that's a whole thing in and of itself that we'll talk about. We're going to talk about online dating sites. That's another thing.
Yeah, and apps.
Apps, online dating sites, all different ways in which you can meet people. Should you meet people through shidduchim? Should you meet people through all sorts of things? And what you basically need to have in mind while you're dating so that it can lead to something more serious, long-term, and lasting.
I give that an amen. So tune in to listen to us, Real Relationships, at jewishcoffeehouse.com.